Presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
Got him swinging. Goodbye.
And the Rangers never, ever quit.
And that is a winner. That is some kind of gritty performance by the Rangers. It is a warm, cloudy afternoon here in North Texas. Globe Life Park in Arlington is the scene. This afternoon, your Texas Rangers play a rubber game against the Detroit Tigers. And welcome to Globe Life Park, everyone, with Tom Green, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us on this Sunday afternoon. Rangers trying to win 2 out of 3 against the Tigers. With a win here this afternoon, they will do that. And one of the guys that has really been carrying the Rangers offensively, and there are many, but Mitch Moreland has been as hot as anybody in baseball, Tom.
He really has, Buzz. The Rangers had a tough night with the bats last night. They're going to try to bounce back today against Michael Fulmer, who's been one of the toughest pitchers to hit in the American League. They'll be counting on Mitch Moreland to stay hot. Over the last 2.5 weeks, he has been one of the toughest hitters to get out in Major League Baseball, hitting almost 400 with 7 home runs, and he leads Major League Baseball with a 1278 OPS. He's been hot. The Rangers will be counting on him to stay hot.
And certainly their starting pitcher this afternoon, A.J. Griffin, would love to get some offensive support as he goes against the very tough Detroit Tigers here at home. Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. by AT&T high-speed internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. A cloudy and comfortably warm afternoon here at Globe Life Park. Rangers and Tigers getting set to wrap up this 3-game series. To get us filled in before we get underway, let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, Buzz Jurickson Profar has played 6 positions in the field for Jeff Bannister and the Texas Rangers this season. Banny says it's an invaluable tool for him to have to be able to put him wherever he needs on any given day. And Jurickson says his versatility is more than just his own.
It's not that hard, you know. We have good coaches that coach me, and have good teammates too. So when I'm out there or at a position, I just feel comfortable, you know. I have Ian in center field there, and he helped me a lot in the field and make me feel comfortable. So it's not that hard.
And Jurickson back in the infield today in place of Elvis Andrus, who is getting the day off. I also asked Profar about the outfield assist last night, and his smile got very big, very wide, and said that was one of the most exciting plays he's had in quite some time. Always fun to be learning something new and experiencing new things at this point in his career, guys.
All right, Emily, thank you. He is experiencing a lot of new things. Yourself, that something will happen today that'll be new for him too. Tom's going to tell you about the Detroit lineup that will face A.J. Griffin this afternoon.
Well, Ian Kinsler is the leadoff hitter. He's second in the American League with 91 runs scored. Tyler Collins is in center field. Miguel Cabrera plays first and bats third. The DH is the cleanup hitter, Victor Martinez. J.D. Martinez is in right field. Justin Upton bats sixth in left field. Casey McGee, big night last night, playing third base today. James McCann is the catcher, and batting ninth, the shortstop, Andrew Romine.
Well, that's Brad Ausmus lineup that will face A.J. Griffin this afternoon. The 28-year-old right-hander from San Diego, making his 16th start of the year. 5-1. And that 4.36 ERA down some, and it's on the way down now. They're just giving up a 2.37 opponent's average. Last time he faced Detroit, which was back on May the 7th, game that he would rather forget. Not that the Rangers lost, they won that ball game, but that was the game that A.J. had to come out in the third inning with that shoulder problem, put him on the disabled list for the better part of 7 weeks. So A.J. looking to bounce back here this afternoon against Detroit, and he fires a strike to Ian Kinsler. We're underway at about 8 minutes after 2 on this Sunday afternoon. Kinsler, a .291 average with 21 home runs and 62 RBI. Strike 2 is at the bottom of the zone. And Kinsler with his 4th career 20 home run season under his belt. In this series, Kinsler has gone 2 for 9 against the Rangers. He's gone on strikes here to begin things. You know, A.J. Griffin, maybe a little extra velocity early in this ball game. Strikeout number 1. Take a look at the Ranger defense delivered to you this afternoon by the Texas Department of Transportation. Mazzara, Desmond, and Chu left, center, and right for the Rangers. The infield of Moreland and Odor on the right side. Profar and Beltre on the left side, with Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate once again. So 1 up, 1 away. Here's Tyler Collins, the center fielder. Saw Collins start on Friday night, the first game of the series, but 1 for 5 thus far. And he pops the next pitch up out behind second. Rougned Odor out there, and 2 gone.
A.J. pounding the strike zone with fastballs so far in the ball game. Got Kinsler to offer at 1, maybe a little bit out of the strike zone. Tyler Collins got jammed a little bit late on that pitch up and in. A.J. coming right after him so far.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy employed that very effectively the other night with Yu Darvish on the hill. A lot of fastballs in the first inning, establishing that fastball in the strike zone. And once he got the Detroit Tiger hitters swinging at that fastball, And he went to the off-speed stuff. Fastball down and away for strike one. Now, I'm not saying that A.J. Griffin has the same kind of stuff that Yu Darvish does, but the theory, not a bad one for either pitcher or for any kind of pitcher as far as that goes. Cabrera, a .312 average for the year, 26 home runs, 76 driven in, as usual, being a real pest here at Globe Life Park. 4 out of 8 in the series, and a .393 career average against Ranger pitching at Globe Life. And 2 for 4 in last night's ball game. And we'll take a look at last night. How do you pitch to Miguel Cabrera? If you have 96 in your back pocket, you can go upstairs, which Keone Kela did to great effect. Cabrera waving at 3 pitches up there, and the hot zone not so hot up there. Anywhere from 125 to 208, which for Cabrera is pretty low, and he's gone there as A.J. Griffin takes a page out of that book. Well, 3 up, 3 down with a couple of punch-outs for A.J. Griffin. Tigers down in order. After a half inning, no score at Globe Life Park. Very quickly now, the Rangers coming to bat on the bottom of the first. Tom's going to tell you about the Southwest Airlines Rangers order.
The Rangers will start with Shin-Soo Choo, followed by the center fielder Ian Desmond. Carlos Beltran bats third. He's the DH. Cleanup hitter is Adrian Beltre. Batting fifth at second base, Rougned Odor. Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate again. Mitch Moreland bats seventh. Jurickson Profar is the shortstop. And batting ninth, the left fielder Nomar Mazara.
And Michael Fulmer going to work, and he fires strike one to Shin-Soo Choo. Choo, .256 average, 7 home runs, 17 driven in. Pulls this one weakly on the right side. And Kinsler for out number 1. So that is a hallmark for Michael Fulmer. Fastball, sinker, and slider with well above average velocity on all of them. And he's another rookie the Rangers haven't seen before. So they've had run into a few of those in the last 10 days or so. Throws a lot of strikes. He just will not walk, folks. He fills up that strike zone with quality stuff. And he is right now about as tough as any right-hander in baseball. He's got it going pretty well. Ian Desmond, big cut and a miss on the first pitch. Desmond hitting at .290, 20 home runs, 70 RBI. Facing Michael Fulmer, a 23-year-old who grew up in Edmond, Oklahoma. Then he had in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 family and friends come down for this ball game. First opportunity that family has had to see him near home. That 3-hour drive up Interstate 35 for the Fulmer family. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As mentioned, coming right at folks, that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he'll throw 2 different ones, the four-seam variety and the 2-seam sinking fastball. Upton, Collins, and J.D. Martinez in the outfield, left, center, and right. Miguel Cabrera, Ian Kinsler, Andrew Bromine, and Casey McGee on the infield. Right up the middle, with Kinsler shading that way. Throws out Desmond.
Yeah, this was a nice trade for the Tigers. They acquired Fulmer from the Mets in a trade for Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes was a guy they weren't going to keep anyway. They weren't going to be able to sign him. In a year they weren't going to win. So they got rid of a high-priced player that wasn't part of their future. And they acquired Michael Fulmer, who right now probably looks like the leading candidate to be Rookie of the Year. And has been just tremendous for him.
Carlos Beltran, first ball swinging. He grounds out to Cabrera. So 3 ground balls the Rangers quickly dispatched in the bottom of the first inning. He quickly moved through 1 inning at Globe Life Park. No score. As we play in the top of the second inning. Kind of a muggy afternoon here at Globe Life Park, and A.J. Griffin going to work. And when you talk about filling the strike zone up, A.J. has done that pretty well so far. 12 pitches, 8 strikes. Dealing to Victor Martinez leading off this second inning. That's shot the other way. That's a fair ball, and it's going to be extra bases into the left field corner. Martinez standing at second after a leadoff 2-bagger.
That's one of the things that makes it so tough to pitch to the middle of this lineup with Cabrera and Martinez, 2 veteran hitters, 2 300 hitters, is the fact that these guys aren't trying to pull the ball and hit home runs. These guys are just trying to hit line drives where the ball's pitched. That was a decent pitch, tailing down and away. And Martinez has always been a 300 hitter. Showing you why right there with a rope down the left field line.
Martinez has been swinging the bat well in the last several weeks, too, hitting up right around 350. So he is aboard the first base hit of the game for either ball club. J.D. Martinez now will step in. J.D. Martinez, a 298 average. 0-1. J.D. Martinez, 2 out of 6 in this series, brings in a rather modest 4-game hitting streak. Nothing in 2. A.J. Griffin being very aggressive to this Tiger ball club. A.J. with that 4.38 ERA, but that is dropping. Beltre makes sure Victor Martinez will stay at second. Throws out J.D. Martinez. 1 out. Good pitch there by A.J. Griffin to keep that ball on the left side of the diamond. 1 out. Justin Upton coming up. We're going to say hello to Jim Knox.
All right, appreciate it, Buzz. What a great day for baseball. We got the Little Rangers here to the Tri-City area. 10U team. Jaden celebrating a birthday. How old are you, buddy?
11.
11. Like the mask. Let's take those masks off. See the faces out here today. There we go. Look at that. Like a bunch of good-looking guys there. Enjoy the game, all right, guys? Let's go. All right. Go Rangers!
Now 1 out. Justin Upton, the left fielder, takes ball 1. Laid off that pitch that was just a little bit high. Upton, a .232 average for the year with 13 home runs, 46 driven in. Upton 1 for 5 in last night's game. Hits a towering fly ball that's going to twist out of play down the right side. That evens the count and a ball and a strike. The Rangers won the opener of this series 8-5 on Friday night. Tigers came back and behind Matt Boyd shut out the Rangers on just 3 hits. A 2-0 Detroit win last night. To center field, Desmond, easy play for the Rangers center fielder, and that's out number 2.
We're talking about the acquisition of Michael Fulmer. Rangers saw Matt Boyd last night. They've also got a young pitcher named Daniel Morris who came over with Matt Boyd in the trade for David Price. So at the end of July last year, Tigers made 2 trades. They got rid of David Price and Yoenis Cespedes, 2 veteran guys, and they acquired Norris, Boyd, and Fulmer, 3 young pitchers that they figure will be part of their rotation for years to come. Rangers saw Matt Boyd at his best last night. Michael Fulmer has been at his best all season long, and Daniel Norris is hurt right now, but those could end up being two nice trades, 3 good young pitchers for the Tigers in the future. Tigers have, over the years have been a team trading their young players to get better right now with veteran players, but that trade was made pretty strategically at a time they couldn't win with players they weren't going to keep.
It's amazing.
That's how you do it.
Dave Dombrowski virtually got run out of town before those guys ever had a chance to make it. He was blamed for trading off the stars that they had.
Yeah, Dave, it didn't take Dave long to find a job either. And the one he took with the Red Sox wasn't the only opportunity he had either.
Casey McGee, a couple of foul balls, finds himself down in an 0-2 hole. McGee, a big night last night, tied a career high, had 4 hits, went 4 for 5 against the Rangers. So McGee now 9 out of 27 since being recalled from AAA by the Tigers. Victor Martinez at second, 2 outs. The 0-2. There's that big slow hook. That's the first one of those we've seen this afternoon. 1-2. Our Kubota Power Stats talking about A.J. Griffin. At 194 opponent's batting average against right-handers. That's the 5th lowest in the American League. A.J. has really been tough on the right-handed hitters. Another foul off to the right. Still a ball and 2 strikes. AJ's last outing was against the Rockies. Took a no decision. Rangers, one of the comeback wins that they had against Colorado. That was a 7-5 victory on Tuesday. Check swing. He went around. No need to ask for an appeal as home plate umpire Brian Knight says, I got you. 3 strikeouts and a nice job of working around a leadoff double for A.J. Griffin. Nothing across for the Tigers after 1.5. No score. Brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Well, here's Adrian Beltre to start off the Rangers' second. Michael Fulmer, this is low with that power sinker of his. Beltre, 286, and he has been on quite a tear. 18 home runs, 73 RBI. That ball's ripped to left field. Into the corner and off the wall. Played by Upton McCarron. The throw comes right into Ian Kinsler at second. Beltre had to put the brakes on. He got about 40 feet towards second base, and no, I don't think I'll be able to make it.
You know, if that was Ian Desmond that hit that ball, it would have been a close play at second base because Upton got that rope right off the wall and threw a long throw to second base right on top of the bag. That was unfortunate that that ball had the top spin on it that kind of hooked, stayed down, hit the wall. Watch Upton's throw where it ends up. That's right on the bag. I think if that was Ian Desmond that hit that ball, he would have been out at second base.
You might have. Oh, goodness. Anyway, Rangers have their first base runner as Beltre stays torrid. Odor popping up the first pitch. And that is back into the seats a couple of rows. 0-1. Rougned a .278 average. He is still the team leader. 22 home runs. And he has driven in 60.
Well, that's a shame to get a single on a ball hit like that.
Yep.
All you had to do is get that thing up in the air a little bit because he hit that right on the barrel.
And Odor fouls off the next pitch. 0-2. If he'd gotten that up a little bit, somebody out there would have needed a glove to handle it in the seats.
Hope they're paying attention.
Yeah. Adrian continuing to smoke every strike he sees, it seems like. He's had 6 multi-hit games in his last 7 contests. Hit safely in now all 8 of those games, including that base hit to start this one. Odor down on strikes as Fulmer takes a page out of Floyd's book from last night, goes up the ladder, gets Rougned.
Rougned has shown a little bit of a propensity to swing at that pitch with 2 strikes. And until he lays off that pitch, he's going to see it a lot. You can see McCann urging Fulmer to throw that high fastball, which he did and got the result he was trying for.
Oh, 1 out with Beltre still at first. Here's Jonathan Lucroy. 1 ball and no strikes. Lucroy took an 0 for last night. That's been rare for him in a Ranger uniform. He's hit .286 with the Rangers. Driven in 11 runs in the 11 games that he has played with them. 6 home runs. Take a look at our Ford leaderboard since the All-Star break. On base plus slugging percentage, Jonathan Lucroy trailing only Jose Altuve. Lucroy with an 1171 OPS. Mitch Moreland 4th on that list. Outside corner as Fulmer took a little bit off, and it's 2-1. Lucroy, you might remember, the first player in Ranger franchise history, Ranger Senators franchise history, to have 6 home runs in his first 10 games. A couple of 2 home run games for Lucroy. Two and two. Lucroy was batting .299 with the Brewers when he came over in the trade on the 1st of August. It was a trade deadline day this year. He and Jeremy Jeffress coming over to Texas. Now Fulmer a check of first, Beltre a modest lead. 3-2. Well, Lucroy trying to get aboard to join Beltre on base. Mitch Moreland, Ranger first baseman, going to follow. Pretty good sized crowd on hand here this afternoon. Very comfortable day in the middle of August. This is close to nirvana.
Yeah, compared to the last day game,
Yeah.
these fans got lucky. They got about 20 degrees cooler today, and the sun's blocked out by the clouds.
There goes Beltre. The pitch is swung on a miss. The throw to second, and they got it. Well, a strikeout, throw him out, double play, and that will end the Rangers' second inning. No runs a hit, nobody left after 2. Rangers nothing, Tigers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. National Jersey Night, and fans who wear a Ranger jersey out to the ball game tomorrow will participate in the pregame parade, and they'll receive a voucher for a buy one get one ticket. Ticket offered for select August games. Plus, the Texas Rangers retail locations are offering 15% off all Ranger jerseys now until tomorrow. Get your tickets for the A's Ranger game tomorrow night at TexasRangers.com. James McCann, the strong-armed catcher of the Detroit Tigers, leading things off. McCann threw out Adrian Beltre, trying to swipe second in the bottom of the second. 2 balls and no strikes to him. McCann hitting just .206, but the Rangers got to think that's about 150 points lower considering what he does against them. They just have not had an answer for McCann. 2-1 now. McCann this year 3 out of 11 with a home run. Count evens to him at 2 balls, 2 strikes. It'd be McCann followed by Andrew Romine, then back to the top of the order for Ian Kinsler. Each club with a hit this afternoon. Victor Martinez had a leadoff double in the second. Adrian Beltre a leadoff single in the Rangers second. And there is the 4th strikeout for A.J. Griffin today.
He's pretty much pounding him with his fastball right now. He's mixing a few other pitches along the way. His typical strikeout fastball, maybe a little bit out of the zone, not necessarily exactly where he tried to throw it, but he got it up and really tied up McCann with that swing. Good ratio of strikes to balls too, 21 to 8. There's been times where AJ's had pretty good stuff, but thrown a lot of pitches. Today he's been much more efficient. Nice play over there.
Brought the glove, utilized it, got a souvenir. 0-1 the count to Andrew Romine. Romine, switch hitting shortstop, batting at .215 with a home run and 6 driven in. Jose Iglesias, the everyday shortstop for the Tigers, on the disabled list. Leaping stab by Rougned Odor to pick off a sure base hit. Great jump, great play by Rougned.
Well, he was positioned pretty well, too, to be able to take a couple of steps and make that play on the line drive. That time, Romine got him out in front of a pretty good fastball. Thought he had a base hit, too, until that. You got a little bit of joy coming out of the box, anticipating the hit, and then your heart sinks when you see the fielder make a play like that.
Well, here's Ian Kinsler. He takes strike one. Another shot of Rougned. Fully extended. Rougned Odor took it a base hit away from Romine. Little nubber foul off the tip of Ian Kinsler's bat. Well, A.J. Griffin with the advantage at no balls and 2 strikes. Kinsler struck out in the first as he started proceedings here this afternoon. Griffin back to the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Rangers had a crowd last night at just short of 38,000 and looks to be in the same neighborhood here this afternoon. Very nice Sunday afternoon crowd. 1-2 pitch. Hit hard but pulled foul. Rangers this year against Detroit have won 4 of the 5 meetings. They lost for the first time in 7 games last night. They had a 6-game winning streak that came to an end. Got him swinging.
High fastball.
A.J. Griffin going upstairs twice. He's gotten Kinsler. Griffin with 5 strikeouts in the first 10 hitters he's faced. 3 up, 3 down after 2.5, no score in Globe Life Park.
Park in Arlington, Mitch Moreland at the plate for your Texas Rangers. And speaking of Mitch, he chaired the Baseball Tomorrow equipment drive for the Texas Rangers this year, raising equipment, baseball and softball equipment for the Texas Rangers MLB Youth Academy. Did a fine job once again this year. We'd like to thank not only all the generous fans of the Texas Rangers with their kind donations, but also to Fox Sports Southwest and Academy Sports and Outdoors, guys.
All right, Em, thank you. Mitch leading off here in the bottom of the third. Bottom third of the Ranger order, facing Michael Fulmer. Mitch with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. 256 average, as you can see, for Mitch with those 20 home runs. His third 20 home run season of his career is back and out of play. Mitch at least 1 hit in each of his last 3 ball games. A 455 clip. Go back to the last week in July. Now 3.5 weeks now, he's been a 396 hitter. Mitch with 9 home runs since the All-Star break. That's tied for fourth most in the American League. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mitch has a 7-game on base streak, either by a hit, a walk, or hit by pitch. He's been much more comfortable at the plate. And he has hit the ball hard. It's not just balls falling in. He's shooting the ball with authority all over the ballpark. Got him swinging here, Fulmer. Able to take something off that. Moreland becomes the 3rd strikeout victim for Michael Fulmer. One away, Jurickson Profar coming up, but first we're going to send it over to Aaron Hardigan for a Chevy game break. All right, Aaron, thank you.
Yeah, Russell Martin had the big hit last night, 3-run homer against the Astros.
Astros losing last night along with the Rangers. That separation still 7.5 games, but the Mariners won last night. So they crept to within 6.5 games of the Rangers. 2 balls and no strikes to Jurickson Profar, who's batting at .281. Getting the start today in favor of Elvis Andrus. And that pitch outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Now, Fulmer has not walked a man today, but he's in danger of putting Profar aboard. Jurickson hitting 8th in the order. Nomar Mazara will be next. No surprise, Elvis sitting on the bench talking. Enjoying this off day, or partial off day for himself. Yep, Anderson said it's really important to give the middle infielders in particular a little downtime as you head down the stretch drive of the season, so they are fresh. Profar drives one to right center field. Collins retreating, still going back. Halfway back on the track, hauls it in for out number 2.
Well, it's too bad because he hit 2 balls the Rangers have really hit hard. They haven't had much to show for it. Beltre hit a line shot off the wall, only was able to get a single on it. Profar hits it 400 feet. Not quite far enough, though. Collins runs it down right in front of the wall in right center field. A good hitter's count, got a good pitch to hit. Needed about 7 or 8 more feet to hit it off the wall or over the wall.
Well, 2 outs. Here's Mazara. Nomar, 282 is his average. 13 home runs, 44 driven in. Nomar has hit safely in 9 of his last 11 ball games. 2-0. All of a sudden, Michael Fulmer, who had been ahead of everybody until the last 2 hitters. 2-0 pitch. Shortstop Romine near the bag at second, and that'll do it. Again, 3 up and 3 down. We have sped through 3 innings at Globe Life Park. Rangers nothing, Tigers nothing. Now let's go to Rick Renner and our Rooms to Go lounge. Tuesdays are one of the best ways to save out here at Globe Life Park. Find tickets, parking, and meal deals for just $10 each for most Tuesday home games. Visit TexasRangers.com/specials to secure your $10 Tuesday tickets for this Tuesday when the Rangers take on the Oakland A's. Tyler Collins leading things off for the Tigers here in the fourth. Will be Collins, Cabrera, and Victor Martinez. A.J. Griffin to the plate and misses a little bit low. 2-0. Collins popped out to second base in the first inning. Two and one. It was AJ's 40th pitch of the afternoon. 28 strikes, 12 balls. So he is really getting ahead of guys, and not a lot of foul balls today, which had been kind of his bane. There's one that will probably be foul and out of play. It is. Adrian Orr to take a look. It's right on the dugout rooftop. Seems like AJ, and you mentioned it, Tom, about the pitch count. Not that he'd walked a lot of people, but given up a lot of foul balls, a lot of long counts, and that had run his pitch count up as much as anything.
Yeah.
He just hasn't had that this afternoon. 2-2 to Collins.
Well, he's definitely having a hard time laying off that pitch, the high fastball. Several of the strikeouts have been on that very pitch. Collins offered at that one a little bit out of the strike zone, but was able to get a piece of it.
Collins with a .226 average as he awaits. Base hit by Profar into left field. Collins shooting one the opposite way as a leadoff base hit. Second hit of the game for the Tigers. Both of them have been leadoff safeties. Martinez had a leadoff double in the second. Collins a leadoff single. Miguel Cabrera will be next. Cabrera went down swinging, a check swing on a high fastball from AJ. Got Cabrera. Wouldn't offer it that first one. Cabrera now 4 out of 9 in this series, and he is the second best hitter in the American League against right-handed pitching. He's a .325 average. To right field, that is going to be trouble. Chu over the ball, slicing and going foul. Well, I thought from the way that took off that it was going to dunk its way in fair territory. It didn't, fortunately. We'll reset and try it in 1-1.
Yeah, that was really slicing. I thought the same thing. I thought it was going to be 10 feet fair from up here. Cabrera loves to go to right center field. That's pretty much his game plan. He gets a little bit out in front of it. He hit it to left field. And he's got power to all fields. Probably hit 30 home runs again, knock in 100 runs, hit 300. Kind of an average year for him.
Yeah, so what's
Maybe
new, right?
Below average.
2 balls and a strike as that fastball missed in. Now Cabrera this year 5th with a .386 on base percentage in the American League. That .312 average that he brought into the ballgame was 4th highest in the league. This one popped up. Moreland and Odor. Rougned Odor behind Moreland. Mitch able to stay with it and make the grab.
Yeah, Mitch is very good on pop-ups. Good at going back. Pretty much had that one all the way.
Nice play by Moreland. One gone. Now Victor Martinez. That ball on the right side of the diamond will work its way back toward the foul line as the one on the left side will, but going back over Mitch's head just a bit. Victor Martinez had that double into the left field corner as he led off the Tigers' second. Rangers infield pulled well around to the right for Martinez, a switch hitter, batting from the left side. See Profar very much favoring the middle of the diamond. 1 ball and no strikes. Victor Martinez 2 out of 10 in this series now with that double. A.J. Griffin trying to coax a ground ball at an infielder. High drive to deep right field. Chu back in the corner at the wall. It is gone. Wow. Towering home run from Victor Martinez into the wedgie. And the Tigers take a 2-0 lead.
I saw it come off the bat and said good. He popped it up. Unfortunately, he popped it up to the only part in the diamond where it could go out of the ballpark, and that's right down the right field line. That ball is 10 feet in more in fair territory. It's an easy play for Chu.
Right fielder J.D. Martinez.
Now Chu can only stand there and watch as that ball disappeared to the crowd in the wedgie. No, 2-0. A.J. Griffin now has allowed 15 home runs this year. He's given up at least 1 home run in his last 11 outings. Excuse me, the last 10 outings. And J.D. Martinez rips one toward the corner and left. Nazaro will have to play the carom off the wall. J.D. Martinez pulling in at second with a ringing double.
Left fielder Justin Upton.
And very quickly, Jonathan Lucroy out to have a chat with A.J. Griffin.
That's the second time through the lineup. The Tigers have seen the aggressiveness of AJ, throwing a lot of fastballs. That time Martinez was ready for it. Pretty good location to hit too. That might have helped him.
No Martinez at second. Here's Justin Upton. 1 ball, no strikes. Upton flied to center field back in the second inning. The Tigers single double home run in this inning, leading 2-0. J.D. Martinez at second base. It's just off the outer edge. 2 balls and no strikes. Justin Upton, a .231 average. Snapped an 0 for 15 with a base hit last night. Pops this one up shallow center. Long run in for Ian Desmond. Still coming. Desmond gets there. The throw back to second. And they get him. No, it looked like first base umpire Phil Cuddy too. First base umpire Phil Cuddy was over there looking at it. I thought he threw his right fist up in the air.
It looked like it.
And Steve Buechele getting the information from upstairs. Bobby Jones and Adam Brenner up there, the video people. I guess not.
Now batting third baseman Casey McGee.
No, 2 outs. And Casey McGee will step in. McGee went down swinging the first time, but he faced Griffin today. Two hopper out to Profar. And that'll do it. Tigers, though, get on the board. They get 2 runs on 3 hits and leave 1. After 3.5, it's Detroit 2 and your Rangers nothing. Reminder for you, the next Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Night is coming up on Wednesday. Rangers host the Oakland A's. Head on out to Globe Life Park. Enjoy all the dollar hot dogs you can eat for just $1 each. Get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Well, the Rangers now trailing by a couple as they send the top of the lineup to face Michael Fulmer here in the 4th inning. Jude, Desmond, and Beltran. First time around, all grounded out, facing the Tiger right-hander.
That's a good tailing fastball at 95 miles an hour. He's got a hard slider. Seen a couple of changeups, but for the most part, comes right at you. There's a changeup. No, fastball. Yeah, changeup.
Yep. Yeah, changeup, one of the harder ones around too.
Yeah. Mid-80s. There it is again.
You got that in. It's now 1-2. But you grounded out weakly to second base his first time. Fulmer, 35 pitches to work through the first 3 innings. Fly ball to right field. That sends J.D. Martinez back, but he has room just in front of the warning track.
Well, Fulmer last year was the Eastern League Pitcher of the Year. That's a Double-A ball. Became the Tigers' #1 prospect. And this year he's had 18 starts after a brief April in AAA. 13 of the 18 starts he's given up 2 earned runs or less. He's given up no earned runs in 5 starts. Had 4 consecutive starts without giving up a run. 33 1/3 scoreless innings. And had a 10-game stretch where he went 7-0 with an .083 earned run average this year. At times this year, for long stretches for a 2-month period, he was featuring an ERA under 1.
Time called. Ian Desmond up there. No balls and a strike. Desmond, a ground ball to second, his first time to the plate. Line into left field for a base hit. Well, Romine gave it a leap, but Desmond has a 1-out single.
He waited on the changeup and ripped it by Romine.
Carlos Beltran.
The second Ranger hit of the afternoon. Desmond aboard, Carlos Beltran, who grounded out to first base in the first. Beltran with the average of .302 as he awaits the first offering from Fulmer. Line to right field and pretty deep. J.D. Martinez back up against the wall, makes the catch. Back to first is Desmond.
Rangers have hit a number of balls on the button today. 3 2/3 of the way through the ball game. Beltran, a line shot off the wall. A couple of balls hit pretty hard in this inning. Chu hit it to the warning track. Beltran hit that ball hard. Profar hit one 400 feet to center field. So they've had some good swings at Fulmer. Last night against Boyd, they were off balance all night long. Boyd kept the ball off the barrel of the bat against the Rangers consistently. Today against Fulmer, they don't have much to show for it, only a couple of hits, but they've got 4 or 5 well-hit balls, more than they had last night against Boyd.
Well, the Rangers now trying to find some way to get on the scoreboard. They've been held scoreless for the last 15 2/3 innings. Here's Beltre, who ripped that single off the wall and left. 0-1. Our GXU Energy Power Player to watch. Ageless veteran Adrian Beltre, last 8 ball games. Almost 500, 484, 2 home runs, 8 RBI, and a 1233 on base plus slugging. Formal with that throw, almost handcuffed Miguel Cabrera over there at first. And again, a toss over. Now with 2 outs, you might think that Desmond might try to swipe second. Certainly Fulmer does. Cabrera trying to push Desmond off the bag. That is self-explanatory.
That one wasn't destined to go very far.
No, it wasn't. Nothing in 2 to Adrian. Fulmer, the belt high set. Base hit to right field. Desmond will check in at second. No, Adrian, another multi-hit game. He is 2 for 2. Rangers with 2 men aboard for the first time this afternoon. And Rougned Odor coming up.
Yeah, it's a pretty good indication of a batter who's feeling pretty good at the plate against this kind of a pitcher. When the first time up, he rips a high inside fastball off the left field wall. Now behind in the count, he takes a pretty good pitch away and just strokes it into right field for a base hit. Batters are only hitting coming into the game .214 against Fulmer. If Fulmer had a few more innings, which he probably will by the end of this game, have enough innings to qualify for the ERA title, he'd be leading the American League in ERA. Just doesn't have quite enough innings coming into the game.
Odor takes strike 1. Yeah, the qualifying number, you have to have 1 inning per game that your team has played.
Right, right.
Odor went down swinging on that high fastball first time up. First and second with 2 outs. 0-2.
Tigers have played 116 games. This is 117. Came in at 111 innings. So if he does reach 6 innings in this game, he will have qualified. Now tomorrow, if he only pitches 6 innings, he might drop out of it because he won't be able to pitch for 5 more days.
He tried to climb the ladder again, and that wasn't close enough for Odor to think about it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Odor up there. Rangers trailing 2-0. Desmond out there at second, establishing his lead. Beltre trailing him at first. Out of play down the left side. Well, the Rangers haven't done quite as well in these situations, runners in scoring position, since the All-Star break. They've fallen down to third in the American League. Their average has dropped some 12 points since the break. Now down to 278. Got him swinging. Well, Rangers leave a couple aboard. 2 hits and 2 left. After 4 complete, it's the Tigers 2, the Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by the all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9. Meticulously crafted for driving because driving matters. Oh, does that look good? All of you folks who already had lunch or brunch, there's always room for a little more.
I don't know how much room you got for one of those hot dogs. If I remember right, those are the equivalent of 5 jumbo hot dogs.
Just about right.
So if you come to the ballpark on $1 hot dog night and eat 5, I don't think those are jumbo dogs, so you still got a few more to go before you can eat the equivalent of one of those things.
A.J. Griffin gets a little tapper from James McCann right back to the mound. That's out number 1. Next will be Andrew Romine. When you put it in perspective like that, Tom, I feel a little guilty trying to munch on those things.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the equivalent would be. Maybe 6 hot dogs on $1 hot dog night. 6 or 7 might equal that thing.
I think we need to weigh those personally. What about all the other additions to that?
It's pretty tough to, well, not tough, but for a lot of people, it's tough to just eat a plain hot dog. You have to have the rest of the stuff on it. Dress it up a little bit. Some of those dogs, you get probably a couple of cups of chili on top of it. Half a pound of cheese.
Now we're talking.
Half a jar of jalapenos.
2 balls and a strike to count to Romine.
Come back to your group of 5 or 6 people, and they all get ready to cut into it, and they say, "Oh man, this is mine."
2-2. Yeah, I'd say sorry, guys. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm pretty well set for this. Romine had a base hit taken away from him by Rougned Odor first time up there. Odor spearing a hot line drive that was headed to right. Shallow center, Desmond coming on. He's going to have to play that on a hop. So Romine went to the soft side instead of hitting a hard line drive. He had a soft blooper settle in for a single.
Gotten word from the truck, Buzz.
Okay.
Kurt Dykert has polished off the boomstick.
Second
No
Today?
no, not today.
Oh, okay.
But in the past, he has polished off the boomstick, and said no problem. So it's doable. Definitely doable.
That really shouldn't surprise us, should it?
No? No?
If anybody could do it, I knew Kurt could. How much mayonnaise do you think he put on there?
No telling. No telling. I don't think he ate it plain.
Kinsler takes that slow breaking ball that dips in
I know for a
66
fact
miles an hour.
he had chili, onions, and cheese on it for sure.
Okay.
You know, Emily and John Radigan love to go to restaurants and talk about the food. I'd like to see one of them try to eat that thing.
Off the fist.
Although I think they're in it more for the culinary aspect of
Yeah.
it rather than seeing how much you can
Yeah.
eat.
Yeah,
I don't think it really mattered to
Can I
Kurt
chime in?
what it was. He was just going to eat a lot that day, and it happened to be that gigantic hot dog.
He wasn't really in it for the ambiance, was he?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Tom, you remember a couple years ago, it was a few because David Murphy was here, and David Murphy and I had a taco eating contest.
Yeah.
And he polished off 10, and I claimed 7.
That's pretty impressive, man.
I can eat, Tom. I can eat.
Have you ever tried the humongous?
I have not. I have not tried. I've not tried to eat any of the large items on the menu solo. I have conquered it with groups. Usually when there's rain delays in the press box, Dana and Jeff Wilson and Anthony Andro and I will go get one of the expensive things on the menu and split it.
Great idea.
Now Tyler Collins ripping one to right for a base hit. Down to second goes Romine. Well, with 2 outs now, the Tigers have runners at first and second for Miguel Cabrera. Collins with his second straight hit.
Yeah, a couple of nice swings by Collins. He got out in front and hit that one, pulled that one. Time before it, he had an inside out swing, had a solid base hit to left field. And what it does with a couple of outs, it sets up an opportunity for Cabrera with a couple of men on. AJ's handled him pretty well the first 2 times up. A foul, pop up, and a strikeout.
Now this is where he becomes a little more dangerous. You get runners out there on base, and especially in scoring position, Cabrera becomes a little bit different animal. He's one of those guys that you have to be careful of. He doesn't lull you to sleep with a couple of at-bats with nobody on, and then come up with somebody on and put a great swing on the ball. That one's out of play deep down the right side. 0-1. A guy like this, always wanted to know from the scouting report, was he swinging the bat well enough to make adjustments in these situations? And if he was swinging the bat well to do that, then you had to be extremely careful. And if he wasn't able to make those adjustments because of how you swinging the bat, okay, then you felt reasonably good against him. Little flip to Odor. Nice job by A.J. Griffin to get Cabrera. 2 hits, 2 runners left. We played half the ball game at Globe Life Park. Tigers 2, Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. The game on Saturday, August 27th, will receive an Elvis Landers Calrissian Star Wars bobblehead. That's courtesy of Takis. You don't have to smuggle your way across the galaxy in order to pick up one of the coolest bobbleheads of the year. Purchase your tickets today at TexasRangers.com to see the Indians take on the Rangers and take home this special collectible. Jonathan Lucroy leading things off for the Rangers here in the 5th inning. A 2-0 Tiger lead, and Lucroy, after that foul ball, has a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Jonathan struck out into a double play in the 2nd inning. Rangers no runs on 3 hits this afternoon, although they did have 2 hits in the 4th inning. First time they've had 2 base runners aboard in the same frame. Doesn't get much better than this, folks. The 14th of August, and temperature at 87. Just a few high clouds sprinkled out there, and for the most part, sun-bathed crowd out here at Globe Life Park. 2-2 to Lucroy. Now all they need is a Ranger comeback. That would make this a true Chamber of Commerce afternoon. One thing standing in the way right now, though, that's Michael Fulmer. He has been good. He has struck out 4, has not walked a Ranger hitter. Make that 5 strikeouts. He gets Lucroy for the 2nd time today. 1 gone for Mitch Moreland. And before Mitch steps in, we're going to send it over to Aaron Harbigan for a Chevy game break. All right, Aaron, thank you.
Well, depending on how the Red Sox finish, Mookie Betts is trying to make his candidacy for the MVP known. He'll get votes. He's having a terrific year. He's in the top 10 in average, home runs, RBIs, probably runs scored, hitting at the top of that lineup. Right near the top in runs scored. There'll be a lot of candidates. It's going to be tough to beat Jose Altuve in that one, though.
Yeah, it is. Well, the Eastern Division, though, they've got some guys putting up 3 home run games. Machado, wasn't it last week that?
Yeah, he had 3 in 3 innings.
Yeah, and that's kind of ridiculous. Mitch, a strikeout, his first time up there. He takes low and outside, 2 balls and a strike. Moreland a .255 average as he faces Michael Fulmer. In tight to him. 3-1. So Mitch trying to get aboard. If he does, that would bring up a tying run in the person of Jurickson Profar. Tigers 2 runs on 6 hits this afternoon. The Rangers no runs on 3 hits. Hit hard to right field. J.D. Martinez coming on. That is out number 2.
Mentioned that Fulmer had a 10-game stretch where he went 7-1 with an .083 earned run average. Within those 10 games, he had an 8-game stretch where he never gave up more than 1 run. 8 straight starts with 1 run or less. And not many people have done that. 6 pitchers since 1913 have done that. Tells you the kind of year he's having.
Profar rips it to right. Going back, J.D. Martinez, he hauls it in.
Poor Jurickson. Man, he's at 2 ropes.
No, that'll do it. A couple of loud sounds when the Rangers go up 3 up and 3 down. On to the 6th, 2-0 Detroit.
before the game. The Fox Sports Fan Express rolled in from Fort Hood, Texas. On board, plenty of soldiers from Fort Hood, you bet. Part of Operation 35. Cole Hamels, the Rangers pitcher, treating these soldiers to a day at the ballpark. You guys having a good time so far, Private Borders?
Great time right now.
Now, you got to meet Cole before the game. What was that like? What was his message?
It was a great experience. He came down, he signed us autographs and everything. He talked to us, told us how proud he was of us, how proud of the military, and how much he supports us and everything, and that he's ready for us to come back on the next trip.
Very good. And you guys are treated like first class up here. All you can eat section. I hope you're getting plenty of food, right? All right, good. Good to have you out here. Thank you for everything you do. Appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the rest of the game. Thank you, Private Borders. Bud?
All right,
Buzz?
Doxy, thank you. A.J. Griffin facing Victor Martinez leading off this top of the 6th inning. Cole Hamels. You talk about a guy that does an awful lot giving back. Cole Hamels, one of the best. And all the folks coming up from Fort Hood. Rougned Odor in medium deep right field throws out Victor Martinez. 1 out.
Right fielder J.D. Martinez.
Now J.D. Martinez will come up to face Griffin. J.D. Martinez followed the 2-run home run by Victor Martinez with a double. That was back in the 4th inning. That 2-run home run, the only scoring by either team so far today. J.D. Martinez, other than the double, grounded to third, so he's 1 out of 2. 299 average as he bats here in the 6th.
Starting to work in a few more slow breaking balls now, getting toward the middle of the ball game. The last time AJ pitched 6 innings in the game was May 2nd. That was at Toronto. Pitched 5 2/3 a couple of times.
Looped into center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Odor went back like he might have had a shot at it, then realized, no, I'm not going to get my glove up quite that high.
The Rangers are trying to figure out how to get a ball to fall in this game. They've hit at least 5 balls hard to the outfield that have been caught. Well, maybe that's the key. Don't hit them quite so hard and let them bloop in front of the outfielders. Poor Jurickson has hit one 400 feet to center field that was caught, and the last one he hit to Martinez in right field probably hit harder than the ball he hit to center field. Martinez went back and caught it easily, though.
Now Justin Upton takes that breaking ball low. Upton has twice flied to center. Rangers in the infield shading Upton around to the left side. Here's another slow breaking ball that drops in for a strike. Good look with Odor. A couple of steps to the first base side of second. Profar over there in the hole at short, and Adrian Beltre very deep behind the bag at third. 2-1. Well, AJ had gotten past that 5th inning that had been problematic for him. Gave up a couple of hits in the 5th, but was able to work through that unscathed. So that had to be something that kind of got his mind in a little better shape. Run into that wall in the 5th inning last 3 or 4 times. Two and two. That for AJ is 77th pitch of the afternoon. 53 strikes, 23 balls. So very good strike to ball ratio. Three and two. Inning by inning. See, AJ has been very economical. Just that 17 pitch 4th. That's the most he has had in any one frame. One of the few times he's gone to a 3-ball count. He has a full count to Upton. J.D. Martinez at first. And he missed ball 4. First walk of the afternoon. issued by A.J. Griffin. Runners at first and second with one out for Casey McGee.
Third baseman Casey McGee.
McGee has struck out and grounded to short. Rangers trying to figure out the infield alignment with McGee up there. Fastball for a strike. McGee now 9 out of 29 with the Tigers since being called back up from AAA. He was a late signee first week in February. Signed a minor league deal with the Tigers, and Tigers released him during spring training, then re-signed him to another minor league deal. Kind of an insurance policy that for the Tigers they were unfortunate to have to cash in. Chu makes the catch. Everybody holds position. Second and first with 2 outs now as McGee flies out.
Catcher James McCann.
No, James McCann now will come up to face A.J. Griffin. While we have a moment here, I'd like to remind you that country music artist King and Country will be performing a post-game concert Sunday, August 28th, presented by Buckner International. Watch the Cleveland Indians take on your Rangers at 2:05. Then enjoy the concert right after the ball game. To buy tickets for the game or to get your field passes for the concert, visit TexasRangers.com/concerts. McCann fights that pitch off foul. It is 0-1. James McCann today has struck out and tapped back to the mound. McCann in his 9th home run of the year in the opener of this series. Griffin checks the runners. Line drive by Profar into left center field. J.D. Martinez coming around to score. The throw goes into third. In safely is Upton, but on to second goes James McCann. It is a 3-0 Tiger lead.
Well, McCann doesn't look like a 200 hitter when he's facing the Rangers. He had a big game the first game. And today, 0 for 2 coming into this at bat. He gets a slider, it looks like, away. And puts the barrel of the bat on it and rips it by Profar into left center field. Nomar's throw probably would have been better served coming into second rather than third. Didn't have any chance at third base, and the throw to third allowed McCann to take second.
Andrew Romine takes that slow bender that stays high. Romine singled his last time up after being robbed by Rougned Odor of a single in the 3rd inning. The Tigers now 3 runs on 8 hits. Bunt is popped up. LaCroix can't quite hang on to it. Jonathan fully outstretched and had that ball just go off the heel of the glove. Catcher's gloves aren't the most forgiving as far as getting the ball off the heel. Got a large amount of padding.
Romine was trying to see if he could sneak a bunt down there to pick up the run at third base.
1 ball, 1 strike. Now 1-2. Romine with the hit this afternoon and a .221 average right now. He's got Upton at third, McCann at second. That's out of play to the left. Well, if AJ was glancing out toward the Ranger bullpen, there's nobody out there throwing. So it's all his here in this 6th inning. Slow breaking ball, got it. Big slow hook, 7th strikeout for Griffin. But Tigers come up with a run on 2 hits and a walk. They lead 2 after 5 1/2. Tigers 3, Rangers nothing. By Sonic. Today's jackpot is worth $800 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, Mike Raplane from Plano will win $800. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Mike is going to take home $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, Nomar Mazara starting things off for the Rangers. And Michael Fulmer, who has been in command of this ball game through the first 5, fires strike 1. Mazara grounded to short, only at bat thus far today. Behind the bag at first, and Miguel Cabrera shaking that right hand. Apparently that ground ball jumped up and bit him on the bare hand before he caught it. 1 gone.
Well, Fulmer has not walked anybody and has an excellent pitch count. He's only thrown 60 pitches with 1 out in the 6th inning. And he's got a great strike to walk ratio too. Basically 40 strikes, 20 balls. 41 to 19 actually. So he's thrown a lot of strikes. Rangers have hit 4 or 5 balls solidly against him.
Yep.
But still trying to get some base runners on and get that big hit when they need it.
Shin-Soo Choo takes strike 1. Choo is grounded to second and fly to fairly deep right field. Out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Rangers now 16 innings of scoreless baseball for them. Make that 17. Excuse me, 17 scoreless.
Well, that comes after hitting 4 home runs in the first game of
Right.
this series. Looked like the Rangers were getting hot and starting to pound the ball. But probably has more to do with who they're facing than it does the hitters themselves. And yesterday you just have to tip your hat to Matt Boyd, who pitched a great game, and today it's 23-year-old Michael Fulmer doing the same thing.
Now the right-hander into the wind. Got him swinging.
Oh, that's a good slider, too. 88 miles an hour.
For Fulmer, that is strikeout number 6. 2 gone here in the 6th. Ian Desmond will be next. That's a classic back foot slider.
Yeah.
Desmond has one of the 3 Ranger hits. This was a solid line drive to left field in the 4th inning. 1 out of 2 today. Fair ball behind the bag at third. McGee, the low throw dug out by Cabrera, and that will do it. So Fulmer disposes of the Rangers very quickly in this 6th inning. 3 up, 3 down. We're going to the 7th. Tigers 3, Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. His 4-game summary, mostly Tigers. Victor Martinez launched a high fly ball that carried into the wedgie down the right field line. A 2-run blast got the Tigers on the board. Next inning, base hit to left center field, driving home the 3rd run. McCann with the RBI, that made it 3-0 Detroit. That's where we stand here in the 7th. As A.J. Griffin goes to work against the top of the order. Ian Kinsler will be followed by Tyler Collins and Miguel Cabrera. Kinsler, a high fly ball deep to left field. If it's fair, it's gone. That ball is gone. Ian Kinsler, his 22nd home run of the year. 4-0 Detroit. Seems like we've seen that before.
Ian turned a fairly forgettable outing for him. 3 strikeouts into a pretty good outing. In the 7th inning home run.
The 2nd home run off of A.J. Griffin this afternoon. Fastball outside.
That ball definitely had some hang time on it. Went all the way to the back of the seats. Sky high.
Ball's lashed to center, but right at Ian Desmond.
That's what the Rangers have been doing. Line drives at people today. 3 straight hard hit balls for Collins.
Alex Claudio loosening in the Ranger bullpen. Miguel Cabrera 0 for 3 this afternoon will be next. Cabrera is struck out, popped out, and grounded out. 0-1. Cabrera now a .310 average. That slow hook again from AJ. He tried to pump it by him upstairs, almost got it done. Now, in his career, Miguel Cabrera, his hot zone has been pretty consistent. Middle of the plate, down and in, middle of the plate, away and in. Anywhere from the low 300s to the mid 400s. Crowd not real thrilled with Phil Cuzzy down there at first, who would not give A.J. Griffin a swing from Cabrera on that check.
Whoa, that's a strike. Must have done it so quick. It didn't matter. Must have done it so quick the umpires couldn't see it.
8th strikeout for A.J. Griffin. 2nd time that he's gotten Cabrera today.
Designated hitter Victor Martinez.
Well, they've kind of exploited what our metrics show, that high strike inside, middle, and outside is the least successful part of the strike zone for him when he swings.
Victor Martinez fouls that first pitch back. Victor a double and a 2-run home run in 3 trips. Martinez now with 69 runs driven in, 21 home runs. Average at .303. He waited nicely on that slow curveball and smoked it into center for a 2-out single. Tenth hit of the afternoon given up by A.J. Griffin. Brocail and Jeff Bannister on the top rail. J.D. Martinez has reached base safely in his last couple of at-bats, a double and a single. AJ getting stretched out here this afternoon. He had not been at 100 pitches since back in early May. Out of play. He had flirted with it since the beginning of July. Had gotten up to 98 pitches, but not gotten over the century mark. And today, Jeff Bannister, Doug Brocail saying, go ahead and break that barrier. Two balls and a strike. 4-0 Detroit lead. A.J. Griffin trying to keep it right there. 3-1. If J.D. Martinez continues this inning, Justin Upton is in the on-deck circle. Another drive deep down the left field line. Again, if it's fair, it's gone, and it is fair and gone. J.D. Martinez with his 15th home run of the year. It is a 6-0 Detroit lead.
It's almost a carbon copy of the ball that Kinsler hit. Same trajectory, same part of the ballpark. Didn't go quite as far as the ball that Ian hit.
J.D. Martinez got a fastball in the inner part of the plate and left the ballpark with it. A 2-run blast. That's going to do it for A.J. Griffin. So he departs after 6 2/3. Alex Claudio will be called in to take over on the hill. Tigers leading 6-0. We are back to Globe Life Park right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Live streaming sports service delivers everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Just visit MLB.tv for details. Now Alex Claudio on now to face Justin Upton. Bases empty, still 2 outs. A swinging strike. Claudio appearing in his 24th ball game, 3-1 with a 2.61 ERA. He's shown the ability to pitch multiple innings in coming in relief. This might be one of the times that Jeff Bannister would like for him to work a couple of frames. Claudio taking over for A.J. Griffin, who gave up a career-high 11 hits this afternoon in 6 2/3 innings. 6 runs, they were all earned. Right back up the middle, Odor spinning like a top on the ground. And he gets up to throw out Justin Upton. No, that'll do it for the Tigers. They score 3 times, though. It takes a 6-0 lead as we take the stretch here at Globe Life Park. And please join Chuck Morgan as he introduces God Bless America.
Please rise and direct your attention now to the area behind home plate and welcome Robert Brigance. In honor of all the veterans who have served our country and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed at home and around the world, Robert will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Time to take a look at this afternoon's greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Giancarlo Stanton will miss the rest of the season with a groin injury suffered in the last play of the game last night against the Chicago White Sox. So bad news for the Miami Marlins. Meanwhile, Francisco Mejia advanced A ball down at Lynchburg. Hit streak now at 50 consecutive ball games. Had an overruled error last night that got changed about an hour after the ball game. He had gone with the error 0 for 4 in that game, and the official score was encouraged to change it. He did. So the hit streak continues. Well, Carlos Beltran starting off the 7th inning for the Rangers. Rangers in dire need of some offense. They are trailing 6-0 to the Detroit Tigers, and Carlos Beltran ahead of the count, 3-0. Michael Fulmer gets a strike. Rangers have been held to 3 hits by Fulmer. Beltran is grounded to first, line to right field. Full count. Well, Beltran trying to get aboard to start this 7th. Adrian Beltre, the Ranger cleanup hitter, is in that on-deck circle. Payoff pitch. Popped up. Foul territory. Well, McGee over there to make the grab, just crossing the chalk for out number 1.
Third baseman, Adrian.
Beltran on his way to the plate. Before he steps in, we're going to send it over to Aaron Hardigan for a Chevy game break. All right, Aaron, thank you. Beltre takes inside. Adrian has singled each of his first 2 times to the plate. Single to left, single to right. Adrian in one of those streaks now. He's back almost to 290s, to 289 as he bats here. Our Coors Light cold hard fact for you. 4 Rangers 35+ multi-hit games this season. That's the most in Major League Baseball. You got Desmond and Odor, Beltre, and Beltran. Ian Desmond trying to figure out how he can work one of those multi-hit games today. He's got 1 hit, but Rangers need a little more offense from everybody. And Ian right in the middle of that. 3-1 to Beltre. Popped up. Around the mound. McGee coming down to make the catch for out number 2. So Fulmer has gotten behind Beltran and Beltre and gotten to both to pop up.
It's been pretty impressive watching this kid throw. He has enough innings now to qualify for the leader in certain categories, and the one he leads right now is one of the ones he leads is ERA. If he wins this game, he's got a chance. He will go to 10-3, and his ERA was 2.43 coming into the game. It's less than that now.
Here's Odor, who has struck out twice. He's down on the count here, 0-1. Both times Odor has gone down swinging. He's been very aggressive today, and Fulmer has used that against him.
Coming into the game, the leader in ERA was right around 280, a little bit above 280. So depending on what Fulmer does the rest of the way, he could end up in the 230s and have a half a run lead in the ERA after today. That's how good he's been this year.
Pretty good sized gap for this time of year too.
Yeah, sure is. And he doesn't have many starts where he's given up runs. He's had one or two starts where he's given up 4 or 5 runs earlier in the year. A typical game for him is 6 or 7 innings and 1 or 2 runs.
The right-hander back with a 1-2 pitch. Tried that slider down and in, and Odor was not biting on that. Pretty consistent for Michael Fulmer. 16. This is his highest pitch count for any inning.
He's only 23, and he has powerful stuff, but pretty good command of it as well. Pretty good feel for what he's doing out there. That's a good changeup. He hasn't had to throw many changeups. Mostly variety of fastballs and that hard slider.
Oh, another full count pitch to Odor. Up the middle, but that's right where Romine is stationed. 3 up and 3 down once again. That is 10 straight now sent down by Michael Fulmer. Rangers gone in the 7th. On to the 8th we go. 6-0 Detroit.
Time for the progressive fan of the game. Nice sombrero. Here, we're going to give this to that fan back there. There you go. Way to go. But our fans of the game has to be the Mitchell family from Arkansas. Lo, you come all the way in. Very first game, you made a great sign. Beltre's biggest fan. How old are you, Lo?
6.
6. Well, congratulations. You're the fan of the game. You're here with the family for the very first time. You came here cheering for the Rangers all game long. Anything you like to say, Lo? Anything?
Go Rangers, go Belcher!
Very nice. Look at that. Very good.
Very cute. Tigers come to bat, and what's not so cute is the Tigers are on top 6-0. Alex Claudio deals a strike to Casey McGee. Bottom third of the Detroit order here in this 8th inning. McGee 0 for 3 this afternoon against A.J. Griffin. Alex Claudio came on to get the only hitter that he faced in the 7th inning. Now working to start the 8th. 1 ball and 1 strike. The count goes to 1-2. The Tigers 6 runs on 11 hits this afternoon. 3 of those 11 hits have left the ballpark. Two balls, 2 strikes. Claudio, that high set. 3-2. Now McGee leading off the 8th inning. He's the number 7 hitter, to be followed by the catcher James McCann. Popped into shallow left center field. Plenty of time for Ian Desmond to get underneath it, and he drops the ball. Just popped right out of his glove, and McGee is aboard.
Well, it happens to everybody. That's probably the first time that's happened to Ian. Just hit off the bottom of his glove, never got into the pocket of his glove. One of those balls, he has it all the way. Just did not expect that.
No, first error of the afternoon. 1 on, nobody out. James McCann had an RBI single his last time. Grounds one into center field, a base hit. McGee will stop at second. So 2 aboard for Andrew Romine.
Shortstop Andrew Romine.
McCann now 2 for 4. Let's go down and check in with Emily Jones. Romine, the switch hitter. Turn around a bat from the right side of the plate now against Alex Claudio. Romine 1 for 3, had a single back in the 5th inning. Claudio missing away. It's 2-0. Here's a double play ground ball. Profar, Odor, and DeMorley. 6-4-3. On to third goes McGee, and he's there with 2 outs. 152nd double play turn by the Rangers this year. And now let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yes, I am here. Sorry about that, Buzz. We want to wish Tony Beasley well wishes as he heads to Houston. He's going to prepare for surgery this week. He'll have it on the 22nd in Houston. This will be his final game before that surgery, so we definitely want to wish Bees and his wife Stacy, all of his family, the best as he continues to battle cancer. Obviously, all of us behind him. Tony in great spirits in his final game before he heads off, guys.
All right, Emily, thank you. Yeah, certainly our best to him, and he's got the support of everybody in the Ranger organization. I would imagine a good part of their fans too that are aware of Tony's battle.
You know, the amazing thing about Tony with what he's going through, he's been the one supporting everybody else in the organization. Kind of guy he is.
Be hard pressed to find anybody with more of an upbeat attitude than Tony Beasley.
That's for sure.
No balls and a strike to Ian Kinsler. Kinsler had the long solo home run in the 7th inning. His 22nd of the year. And he chops that foul, 0-2. Kinsler, along with the 22 home runs, has driven in 63. And as he has been most of his career, up among the league leaders in runs scored. Multi-hit games, he has 43 of them this year. A ball and 2 strikes. Kinsler coming into the game second in the American League with 91 runs scored, now 92 after the home run. Also tied for 7th in hits, 137 of them. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alex Claudio peering in for his sign. Drive to left. Mazzara moving back. Nomar takes care of it. That'll do it. No runs, a hit, an error, and 1 man left. After 7.5, the Tigers 6, the Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest.
here in the late innings. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Rangers still looking to get on the scoreboard as they close out this 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers. After this, the Oakland Athletics come to town, Billy Butler and company. That lineup will face Martin Perez, who gets the ball for the Rangers tomorrow. Will be a 7 o'clock first pitch here at Globe Life Park, 6:30 pregame show here on Fox Sports Southwest. A big thank you to the fine folks at AT&T High-Speed Internet for getting us ready for the opener of 3 between the A's and the Rangers, guys.
All right, Em, thank you. Well, sometime between now and then, the Rangers need to get on the scoreboard. We have now gone 19 innings without scoring. Jonathan Lucroy trying his best to get him on the board with that towering fly ball right down the left field line. And there to make the catch in foul territory after a Justin Upton hitting out number 1.
First baseman.
Next will be Mitch Moreland. Well, here's Mitch, who has lined to right and struck out this afternoon. 0 for 2. Fulmer pouring in strike 1. He is still busting up there 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's pitched 8 innings in 1 game this year. He's had 5 or 6 times where he's been over 100 pitches, but they haven't pushed him as a 23-year-old. He's got a great chance of finishing 8 innings today with his pitch count.
The way he's going, he's got a great chance of finishing 9.
Yeah, he does.
Mitch pulls it foul. No balls, 2 strikes. 88 pitches for Michael Fulmer. 59 strikes, 29 balls. That's filling the strike zone up pretty well. Very simple repertoire. A couple of different fastball grips, a 4-seamer, a 2-seamer. The 2-seamer sinks pretty well. Hard slider. Very good changeup. And that's the 7th strikeout he has recorded this afternoon. And our AT&T high-speed internet replay will show you Michael Fulmer today. Lucroy, Moreland, Odor, Lucroy, Chu, Michael Fulmer. Showing you why he was the #1 pick by the Mets in 2011 out of high school. Jurickson Profar has been able to solve him as far as hitting the ball hard, but has not been able to find an empty space out there. He's lined to center, lined to right.
Well, the Mets have had some great young pitching in the last couple of years, and judging by the way he's throwing this year, he's right there with any of them.
Oh, 0-2. Now 1-2. Yeah, you can only imagine how deep a system has to be able to give up a guy like this. Michael Fulmer out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Like the slider that stayed up a bit. Still 1-2.
Well, after the 2 balls Jurickson's hit in the 3rd inning and the 5th inning, 400 feet to center, line shot to right, he's due for a bleeder, little dribbler down the 3rd baseline or a blooper.
Got him swinging.
Oh, what a changeup.
That changeup. 3 up, 3 down. That is 13 straight sent down by Michael Fulmer. Rangers gone. We're going to the 9th at Globe Life Park with the Tigers leading the Rangers 6-0. Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By AT&T high-speed internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Now the Tigers coming to bat here in the top of the ninth inning, leading 6-0. Alex Claudio will face Tyler Collins, Miguel Cabrera, and Victor Martinez. And Collins' first ball swinging. Odor handles that. One pitch, one away.
First baseman Miguel Cabrera.
Well, Alex Claudio on since 2 outs in the 7th inning. Got Justin Upton to end that frame, and gave up a hit, but had a double play in the 8th. Now 1 out here in the 9th inning, facing Miguel Cabrera.
Well, Alex has been on a pretty good roll. He's got his ERA coming into this appearance down at 2.61. Becoming a dependable guy out there.
Yeah, he's kind of the one guy down there that you look at and say he really doesn't fit. He doesn't throw hard, and he can't blow people away, but he gets the job done. He has the ability to throw multiple innings, and he and Tony Barnett in the middle of a ball game become very important if the starter struggles a bit. They have the ability to come in and shut down the opposition and hold them right where they are.
And 32 plus innings, he's only given up 1 home run.
Two balls and a strike to Cabrera. Hit pretty well to right field. Chu is going back. He will watch this one go into the seats. A home run for Cabrera. Well, there's the patented Miguel Cabrera opposite field power. 7-0 Detroit.
Well, he was quiet for the first 4 at bats. In fact, he was 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts, but pretty loud line drive to right. Second home run that Alex has given up now.
4th Detroit home run of the afternoon. And a man who possesses one of those other 3 home runs, Victor Martinez. Martinez turning around to bat from the right side against Alex Claudio. Victor, a single, double, and home run this afternoon, 3 for 4. No balls and 2 strikes. The Tigers came in with 150 team home runs. They now have 154. They've flown past the Rangers, who are stuck at 152 in the team race for the home run crown. Slowly rolled out to the shortstop Profar, and Jurickson throws out Victor Martinez. 2 away.
Right fielder J.D. Martinez.
Next will be J.D. Martinez. Martinez's are having a pretty good day. Victor, as we mentioned, he's now 3 for 5. J.D. is 3 for 4. And he's going to be 3 for 5. Claudio throws him out, and that'll do it here in the ninth. But Miguel Cabrera adds on for the Tigers. His 27th home run of the year. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth with the Tigers leading the Rangers 7-0 on Fox Sports Southwest.
post-game show for you coming up after the game. It's Rangers Live. We'll have reaction and analysis to today's series finale against the Tigers. We will talk a silver lining today. Adrian Beltre continues to scald that baseball. We'll discuss how and relive some of his work here today. Plus, we'll get you set for that 3-game set with the A's coming up to conclude this homestand. It's all after the game on Rangers Live, fellas.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Now, Nomar Mazara starting off the 9th inning against Michael Fulmer. And Fulmer misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Mazara 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts. Michael Fulmer has had a grand total of 1 complete game in his professional career. That was the only complete game was back in 2012. He was pitching for Savannah. I believe that's the South Atlantic League.
It's probably more unlikely to pitch a complete game in the minor leagues than it is the big leagues.
Yeah.
Unless it was a doubleheader 7-inning game.
Pulled foul by Mazara, and it's 2-2. This year, Fulmer has gone 8 innings just once. It was against Kansas City back on the 17th of July. He got a no decision in that one. And he is bidding for his first professional shutout, his first major league complete game.
This year in 118 games that the Rangers have played.
There's a base hit for Mazara to start things off.
There's been a total of 3 complete games. The Rangers have pitched 1, the opponents have pitched 2.
And Omar with the 4th hit of the afternoon against Michael Fulmer is aboard to start the 9th inning. Takes the Rangers back up to the top of the order.
Good job of hitting and a good pitch to hit.
Chu steps in, having grounded out, flied out, and struck out. Fulmer bumps in strike 1. You're thinking about shutouts against the Rangers. The last time they had been shut out in back-to-back games last year in Seattle, 9th and 10th of September. It was the last time they had back-to-back blankings. Those were at Safeco Field. Last time they've been shut out in back-to-back games in Arlington at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Oakland shut them out on September 16th of 2009. And then after an off day, the Angels shut out the Rangers on the 18th of September. That's been 7 years ago. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now McGee, the third baseman for the Tigers, over between Kinsler and Cabrera. He's filling that second base hole. Still 1-2. The only time the Rangers have threatened this afternoon, they had 2 hits in the 4th inning. Ian Desmond had a 1-out single. Adrian Beltre had a 2-out single. Fulmer able to get Rougned Odor. That's the only time the Rangers have had 2 runners on base in the same frame. Hit well to center field. Collins coming on, slides and makes the catch.
What a play. Another hard hit ball by the Rangers. There've been a number of them today. I'm not going to take anything away from Michael Fulmer. He's pitched a tremendous game. But the Rangers haven't hit with a lot of luck today. That was a beautiful play by Collins on a line smash. He got a good jump and just came in and made it look like a routine sliding play.
Ball looked like it started to tail back away from him a little bit too.
Yeah, he had to reach to his right.
No, 1 out. Outstanding defense by Tyler Collins. Here's Ian Desmond, who is 1 for 3. Tigers will not hold Mazara at first. 1 ball and no strikes. Desmond, along with a single, has grounded out 2 times. And he's ahead in the count, 2-0. Michael Fulmer not walked a hitter this afternoon. He has struck out 8. He's allowed just the 4 hits. And he misses low. 3 balls and no strikes. That was pitch number 107 for Fulmer. He has gone 1 more than his season high, now 2 more. And he gets a strike. Previously, back in May, he had thrown 106 in a game against Tampa Bay. Going for his first professional shutout here this afternoon. 3-2.
And he's still pumping that ball in there at 95 miles an hour, too. Strong kid.
89-degree afternoon now as we play in the bottom of the 9th inning. Got him swinging. Strikeout number 9 for Fulmer.
3-2. Hard slider. Take a look.
Yep.
Boy, cutter, slider, whatever you want to call it. You work the count to 3-2 in this kind of a game. I don't think that's the kind of pitch you're looking for on the 3-2 pitch. But give the kid credit. He's got a lot of confidence in it to throw it.
Well, here's Carlos Beltran. Beltran is grounded to first, lined to right field, and fouled out to third. Tigers going to the overshift with Beltran up there. Fulmer to the plate, grounded right into the shift. Kinsler up and throwing, and Michael Fulmer has gotten his first career professional shutout, his first major league complete game, as he blanks the Rangers 7-0 on just 4 hits this afternoon. So Michael Fulmer from Edmond, Oklahoma, came over last year to the Detroit Tigers, moved on into the rotation this year, and he blanks the Rangers the first time he had ever faced them, pitching in front of family and friends here at Globe Life Park, and an excellent job this afternoon. 7-0 the final. So we'll be back with more to Globe Life Park right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.